I'm going to hand you over to Kate Green, and then the various cross-party councillors, if they'd like to come up and say a few words, it'd be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and first of all, it's great to see such a terrific turnout, and I want to say a special congratulations to everyone in the Breathe Clean Air campaign. It has been an absolutely fantastic local campaign, and it just goes to show the strength of feeling people locally have about this plan. I've had more letters and emails about this power station, this incinerator, since my election than any other subject. I've had literally hundreds of letters from constituents asking me to raise their concerns. And when you come here today, I think it's just a reminder of what a very serious set of concerns they are. You're worried. You're worried about the emissions into the atmosphere. You're worried about what arrangements are going to be made for monitoring those emissions. You're worried about the impact on your health, on your family's health. So we need to make sure that we get those concerns properly taken account of when the planning decision's made in the next few weeks. And that's why I've written this week to the planning committee to raise all the objections and concerns that you've raised with me, and to say that the answers that we have had have not been good enough, and that's why we do not want to see this plant go ahead. So keep on fighting. This is a great strong message today about how strongly local people feel about this proposal. And I know there are other people who want to speak, so I'm going to get out of the way now, but just congratulations on how much you've done to make sure that your voice is heard. It's been a great campaign. We're going well. It's not over yet.
The next speaker is going to be Dennis Wrigley. He's got some information he'd like to share with you. Thank you.
Can I say straight away that I believe that this meeting is not about you, it's about your children. And I believe that we've got to recognise that over many, many years, the public have been grossly misled about danger. And I want to go back just briefly. When the great Shell petrochemical complex was built in Carrington, we were told, don't worry, there'll be no pollution, there'll be no smell, and it wasn't true. And then we were told that there wouldn't be wagons thundering through Flixton, Urmston and Davy Hume, and it wasn't true. And we had to campaign like this to get the spur road built. Likewise, we were told when they extended the sewage works in Davy Hume that there would be no smell beyond a year or so. It wasn't true. It was a lie. And we fought and we got more money invested. But what I want to say is that these assurances which we seek now are not being given. The Friends of Flixton have made a submission to all the local authorities, and we put here 14 questions. And we say, until you can answer these questions, under no circumstances can you approve this project. What are the questions? Number one, we know that particulates, that's dust, are shunted into the atmosphere, and that the people who suffer most are children. Because their bodies are not developed, they are far more prone to asthmatic conditions and other conditions of a respiratory nature. Now I want to just finish by saying this. This area is in the epicenter of atmospheric pollution. There are more people dying of bronchial diseases and illnesses in Manchester and Salford and the Northwest than anywhere else. Why in God's name are we going to add to that? Why are we going to add to an already unacceptable level of pollution? Now for the figures. We put in a report here, Child Health and Environmental Toxicity, written by Dr. Hans Christian Rabe, a local resident, and this is the figure. There are now 8,100 deaths from particulate matter every year in Britain. 8,000 people. That's nothing to do with the other problems which we're facing in terms of respiratory illness. Now, I'm quite adamant that the authorities have got to answer these questions. They haven't told us what happens if this thing breaks down. They haven't told us about the increased pollution when it's being commissioned or when it's being serviced. They haven't told us precisely the level of tonnage of vehicles to and from the base. These questions must be answered, and I plead with you to add your questions to the Chief Executive Traffic Council, to all the other local authorities, all the other health authorities, to say that we are now in a crisis situation. This district has had enough. I was involved years ago in campaigning on the pollution issue, and I can assure you that over and over again we discovered that the monitoring wasn't accurate. We were told that we discovered the information we given was wrong and misleading. So I believe this march is a statement, not just of Peel Holdings, but all in authority. You have a responsibility for future generations of children. And I plead with you to make your argument on that score. And finally, can I say that I believe the responsibility we have in this district is rooted in the goodness of the past. I think of men like Leeming, who years ago brought in hundreds of thousands of trees in this district to make it a green place. I think of men like Stanley Penlington, who got us the Flixton Gardens. They had vision. They have vision. And the Bible tells us, where there is no vision, the people perish, yeah? And we want vision now on the part of all our leaders, and I applaud what our Member of Parliament has said in the House. I read the debate, and we do know that the Minister responded by saying he wanted to have this kind of debate, didn't he? And he admitted that there were lots of arguments to be put. So finally, can we speak louder? Can we be still more persistent? Can we write still more letters to everybody? And then we will win. Thank you.
Next we've got Dave Acton. Thank you.
Hello to everybody. I'm David Acton, leader of the Labour group. And what I want to say first and foremost is it's absolutely fantastic to see so many people here today and to actually go on a march and have the strength of feeling that you've all got in relation to this particular issue. Now, I started off in terms of when I first heard about this, but I want to listen to all the arguments. I want to listen to both sides of the argument because, like other people have said, I support green energy, I support renewable energy, but when I started to hear both sides of the arguments and I heard the people here who are here today speaking and those experts who actually said to me that, well, this could be very dangerous to the health of our children and to this neighbourhood. And they give real strong reasons why that would be. And I think that although this is classed as a renewable energy, there are so many doubts about the process that I don't want to actually be part of a decision-making body that actually says, I'm going to take a chance. I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to take a chance on people's lives. And I don't think anybody should do that. And therefore, I'm absolutely opposed to this development in our area. You all live in this area. I live in this area. And I don't want anything that's going to pollute our atmosphere and have that health impact on our children and everybody who is here and everybody who lives in our district. So I, for one, am absolutely opposed to it, and I think that we all are absolutely united to make sure that this doesn't happen. And I thank you all for all your representations, because we've had hundreds and hundreds of representations. Your voice has counted, and it needs to continue to count. So make sure you get your letters in. Tell all your friends, which I'm sure you're doing, get your letters into the planning department to make sure that you are objecting, because that voice does count. All the councillors are listening, and as has been said, I think we've got all party support. So let's go together and win this battle. Thank you all.
The next councillor to speak is Councillor Mike Combs.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, like the previous speakers, I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I think this shows the real groundswell of support for the Breathe Clean Air Group, who have really got themselves organised from a standing start only a few months ago. I think it was September that I first sat down and met with Joe and Louise Burgess, who should be thanked by us all for bringing this to our attention and running the campaign with the assistance of the rest of the Breathe Clean Air Group. Having said that, yes, it is all party support for this campaign. Let's leave the politics out of it completely. That was agreed when we had that first meeting back in Christchurch, back in October. Seems a long time ago. Since then, I have never known so many emails, so many phone calls coming into my mailbox, and I know that's the case for all the other councillors. It does count, it does make a difference. This is a much bigger issue than any previous issue in this area. My problem with the incinerator, because that's what it is, an incinerator. Stop calling it a biomass plant, trying to make it sound friendly. It's an incinerator. The problem with the incinerator is that there's very high toxic waste coming out of the bottom as well. That's the residue that's left. That's the bit that some people seem to be ignoring, but it's highly toxic and has got to be shunted out around this area where we all live. I live only literally just around the corner there. Around this area, and we don't want any accidents with toxic waste on our roads, thank you very much. As far as the actual emissions are concerned, they tell us that they've got filters in there. The filters are going to work, they tell us. Well, that's actually a separate issue. I don't think the filters will work properly. Even if it's 0.001% of dioxins coming in this air, I don't want to breathe those, we don't want to breathe those, you don't want to breathe those, and we don't want our grandchildren breathing those either. The other issue is they tell us it's safe. They've got the filters there, but what happens when the filter breaks down or the filter stops working? What's the monitoring going to be like? It's no good having a little disaster for 24 hours and they say, oh, it's only a minor thing. For 24 hours, one of the filters doesn't work and we're all breathing in that poison. I don't want that, you don't want that. Please carry on emailing, writing in. A lot of you have got the details to write to. It's planning.developmentcontrol at Trafford Town Hall. You can look at it on the website for Trafford. You can get it off the website for the Breathe Clean Air Group. If you're not sure, contact one of your local councillors. They'll give you the information. I don't know of one councillor who's in favour of this. We don't want it. Thank you very much. Can I just introduce now Councillor Christine Turner from Urmston Ward. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for coming today. I'm actually not going to say a lot because most of what I was going to say has already been said. That's what happens when you come at the end. So I'm here today because I feel that not enough is known about the health implications of this type of incinerator. And please, all of you, carry on with your support and carry on writing in to Trafford for your objections. You've got till the 12th of January to do that. Thank you.